FPL Game Week 13 team selection. The deadlines are coming thick and fast with the Friday night deadline looming. So today we'll be going through my FPL Game Week 12 team review, fresh off the wildcard, the Game Week 13 team selection, as well as some future plans, some loose plans in place. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button and hit that subscribe, and let's get into it. What's up? It's FPL Vert, where arrows go green, presently half of the time, because after 6 consecutive green arrows up to 60k, we've had 6 consecutive red arrows down to 680k. But the good news is it wasn't due to not owning someone, it was due to having a change of heart in the 11th hour, swapping from captaincy from Salah to Palmer, which, as you can see from the safety score, I only needed 2 points for green arrow, or grey arrow, whichever way you want to put it, and yeah, that cost me 11 points. But I mean, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the wildcard apart from 2, with Robert Sanchez and Isak, which we'll talk about in the team selection. But yeah, pretty good wildcard really, and I think we can kick on from now. I'm not going to jinx it, but I do feel very confident of a green arrow this week. So let's see what the plans will be. Into the team selection and future plans, and I'm willing to admit that I've probably already made 2 mistakes on my wildcard, and Sanchez is probably one of them. Chelsea dominated Leicester on Saturday and looked pretty comfortable, but he still managed to look uncomfortable and make the defence look, pretty shaky. He looked shaky from a set piece. He managed to get booked, so that's now 3 yellows for the season, 2 away from a suspension, and he also managed to get a hand to a penalty that he probably should have saved. So half of this week, I was actually looking at swapping him straight to Bart Verbruggen of Brighton, but then I've noticed some news come out, especially with Tottenham not having changed their goalkeeper, and I think there's more points in attack. So for now, he will survive, but I'll be looking to get him out at the soonest opportunity. But yeah, Aston Villa actually haven't scored in 3 of their last 4 games, so let's just hope for at least some save points from this bum. Gabriel Magalhaes scored away in Sporting in the midweek Champions League game. Just to remind everyone what a set-piece threat he was, he attacked the ball like a man on a mission, and he stole Victor Gyökeres' celebration. Gabriel also scored in the West Ham away fixture last season also. He does currently have a flag, but it doesn't seem like it's too serious. Like, when it was on the bench, he was laughing, he wasn't limping, he didn't go down the tunnel, none of that. So let's see what Arteta says, but if we're going by previous presses, it won't be much. Lewis Hall travels to Crystal Palace in what is typically a tight fixture, as 14 of the last 16 fixtures in all competitions between the two have seen 2 or less goals. So let's hope for at least 2 points, right? Rayan Ait-Nouri welcomes Bournemouth to the Molineux in what has, in recent history, also been a tight game, as each of the last 4 Wolves home games against the Cherries has seen 2 or less goals. But we're hoping for attacking return Ait-Nouri, so let's hope we can get down that left-hand flank and cause some problems. Bukayo Saka, so the last person I transferred in, I think I transferred in maybe like 10 minutes before the deadline actually. And yeah, of course he returns to action, and he has a goal and assist in his last 2 games actually, in the Premier League against Nottingham Forest and in the Champions League against Sporting away. He opened the scoring against Forest on Saturday before setting up Partey, and then he assisted Kai Havertz away in Portugal before dispatching a penalty in emphatic fashion. Just to remind us all that he is definitely the number 1 penalty taker. Arsenal look a team revitalised with the return of captain Martin Ødegaard, and with Timber deputising for White, it seems like that right-hand side is returning back to form and chemistry, and the team just looks better as well. Saka actually scored twice in this fixture last season as well, and Arsenal have scored at least twice in 5 of the last 6 visits to West Ham, so let's hope for some more points. Mohamed Salah hosts Premier League champions Manchester City in the prime time Super Sunday slot. But the differing fortunes for both Liverpool and Man City couldn't be any more different. Liverpool currently sit atop the Premier League and the Champions League and are on a run of 6 consecutive wins in all competitions, whereas Man City have lost 3 league games in a row, are on a 6-match winless run as well. They have also conceded at least twice in their last 3 league games. So this week I'm not going to complicate captaincy. I will not be changing the armband. It's on Mo Salah. If Palmer had maybe scored last week, I probably would have captained him, but he has actually gone 3 appearances in a row without a return, for 3 league appearances in a row without Palmer for the first time since he joined Chelsea when he went 4 appearances without a return, and 3 of those were from the bench. So, yeah, we're keeping on Salah. Bruno Fernandes welcomes Everton for Manchester United's first home game of the Ruben Amorim era. United have scored 7 league goals without a reply against Everton in the last 3 meetings, and Everton themselves haven't scored in the past 3 league matches either. So I'm expecting United to put on a big show for their new coach. Cole Palmer welcomes Aston Villa at a decent time, with Villa on a 7-match winless run. In the last 5 league game weeks, only Leicester have actually conceded more goals than Villa as well, and Palmer's only blanked twice in home matches this season, and they were both against last season's top 2 in Manchester City and Arsenal. Chris Wood faces Ipswich Town for a fixture that I kept him on the wildcard for, because I benched him for the Arsenal game in game week 12, as did Nuno Espirito Santo, actually. In what was likely being his minutes managed, I am expecting him to start this game. They do need to get back to winning ways. That's now 2 losses on the trot for Nottingham Forest in the league. And Ipswich have conceded the most XG in the league. And Forest have also scored at least twice in their last 3 home matches against Ipswich in all competitions. So he's expecting some points here. The other potential mistake on wildcard was probably going with Alexander Isak over Nicholas Jackson. So we'll be watching him very closely. One of the reasons why I'm not going to move Sanchez out is because I want to roll this week and use 2 transfers next week to move out Isak and Wood, because Nottingham Forest fixtures fall off a cliff, and if Jackson's going to be, in form as the way he is, I want to be there. But for now, we can watch him very closely, Isak closely, as Newcastle travel to Palace, having drawn blank at home to West Ham on Monday, which was very disappointing. Palace have conceded at least twice in their last 3 league games, however, so hopefully Isak can return. Otherwise, he'll be out as soon as their game finishes. And fresh off a 12-point haul in just over 60 minutes, Joao Pedro kicks off the game week with a Friday night clash against fellow South Coast side Southampton. Brighton have scored at least twice against Southampton in the last 3 meetings, so expecting some points here. As I mentioned, I'm rolling this week, and likely we'll be going for Cunha and Jackson in place of Wood and Isak. So keep it locked on my Twitter and my Instagram, as I'll be posting updates as and when I will make the transfers, and that's what I'll be looking like for this week. So drop any questions that you have in the comments. Who are you going to be captaining this week? And yeah, I will reply to all the comments as always. So thank you for your support, and I'll see you very soon. The next deadline is on Tuesday, so we'll get a vid out before then. And don't forget that the deadline for game week 13 is on Friday, the 29th of November at 6 o'clock. No, 6:30 actually. 6:30 GMT. Thanks.